So, starting with tarot today, and I asked you to start with tarot because, look, there's a cat on me here. What? That's Angel. Uh, I rescued her from a shelter. I rescued her. Anyway, we started with tarot because tarot is it's a great tool for divination for witches, but it's also a great life tool. A lot of psychiatrists use it for figuring out or helping to figure out problems. Artists use it to understand character and things like that. And there's so many uses for tarot other than divination. But as it is a witch's class, I thought we'd begin there. So get yourself a deck, or you have someone give you a deck, or as life goes on, maybe you'll start buying decks for each other. I don't know. But I want to tell you about the major arcana. So the tarot is divided into four suits and the major arcana. So there's five altogether. And should play with my notebook. Can you see this? Anyway, the suits are cups, swords, pentacles, and cups, swords, pentacles. What am I forgetting? Come on. I'm so sorry. Cups, swords, pentacles, and wands. Wands represent fire or the will. Cups represent emotions and water. Swords represent the intellect and air, and pentacles represent earth and the soul. Okay. Major arcana has what it's the major turning points in someone's life on the fool's journey. So that's why the first card is zero, and it's the fool. And it's zero because zero is between the negative and the positive. So you're just starting out. Then it goes to the magician, which is the first major point when you learn how to when you learn how to use the four suits in your life in the material realm. But also at this point is that's number one. Number two is the high priestess, who represents intuition, because we're on the material plane, as you'll find out if you read or when you read uh, Secret History. There's always the eternal battle between the material, which is the mortal coil that we are in, that Shakespeare pointed out, and the spiritual. And the Age of Enlightenment was pure materialism, and went away from spiritualism. And now this pendulum seems to be fighting back. I'm not sure. Anyway, so on the fool's journey, he then meets the emperor and empress, father and mother figures, creativity and structure. And then number five is the Hierophant. Five is a hard number for me. I'm not sure why, but it's followed me around all my life. Anyway, the Hierophant is religion and rules and the greater society outside the family of the emperor and empress. Hierophant. So then the lovers, that usually represents choices, but it's also when you find a life partner. And then after that, let's see. So the chariot is when you learn how to balance the opposing forces of you and your partner, or just opposing forces of materialism and spiritualism, or the greater forces. But that's the chariot. And then strength is the ability to keep going, and strength has the infinity sign, number 8, on its side. So eternal strength. Number 9 is the last card before 1-0 in numerology, right? Number 9, it's the end of the burden. And so it's the end of the first cycle of the fool's journey. The fool, the magician, and the hermit. The hermit is when the fool goes inside and discovers inner wisdom and the inner voice. Okay. Then 1-0, 10, Wheel of Fortune. Life goes up, life goes down, life goes up, life goes down. Justice, karmic lessons, temperance, balance, understanding and accepting karmic lessons. Death, number 13. 13, death is it's a good card. It's a transformation. It's the end of the old and the beginning of the new. In with the new. And it's actually not a bad card. It's a good card. Pardon me, I said death the hanged man is before death. That makes much more sense. Justice, the hanged man is accepting and sacrificing, self-sacrifice. We learn you have to give to get, you have to give love to get love. That fundamental universal principle. The devil is number 15. The devil is when you become, sometimes it can mean commitment. Generally, it means bondage to something, and you have to fight that. You have to get out of that. You have to be true to your spirit. So getting out of that is the tower, number 16. That's a big shakeup. Death is like a nice transition. The tower is like, duh! And then afterwards, okay, and the tower ends that second cycle. Afterwards is the star. Now remember, the fool starts at 0 and has pure faith, pure innocence. Now we go to the star, and the star represents faith. And you have to, once you've been through all this now in your journey, and the tower has struck, and you're looking around at the ashes of your life, beauty for ashes, as the Bible says. So then you want to go up, and the star represents hope. So you have faith and hope now. And if you follow the star, it will lead you through the shadowy uncertainties of the moon, which is the next card. If you stick with it, you'll come out to the sun, which is always a good card. And then you've done all this judgment. It's the resurrection. It's being born again in the Gnostic Bibles. It's a second chance, a rebirth from the self that came down to the mortal coil, self-exploration, and now this rebirth of the spiritual self. And to mark that is the final card of the Arcana, which is the world or the universe, which means the end of the karmic cycle and successful completion. And I imagine that must be where I should stop the video. And I will be back with other stuff later, but I hope this is informative. Let me know how I can augment these if I'm not doing them right. Thanks. Okay, bye.